If you ever just sat there and wondered what really separates the traders who consistently make money from everyone else, I guarantee you, it's not some secret indicator or a perfect strategy. It's all about how they think. And today, we're going to break down that mindset and show you how to get it.
So let me ask you a question, and I want you to be really honest with yourself. What's the one thing that holds you back the most? Is it finding good entries? Is it your overall strategy? Just take a second and think about what's really causing your biggest trading mistakes.
Well, here's the thing. According to the legendary trading coach Mark Douglas, the answer isn't technical at all. The real obstacle, the true enemy, is completely psychological. It all boils down to one simple, incredibly powerful emotion: fear. To really get this, we've got to go back in time. We're talking about a single trade in the early 1980s that completely changed Mark Douglas's life. This one trade taught him a lesson that years of staring at charts never could. This is how Douglas himself described the feeling. This wasn't just, being bummed out about a loss. This was pure, intense agony. The kind of feeling you get when you watch a life-changing amount of money just vanish because you made one terrible decision.
$400,000. That's the potential profit that Douglas watched just evaporate into thin air. And get this, on just 2 silver contracts. That was the price he paid for letting fear get behind the wheel.
Okay, so here's the play-by-play. Douglas bought silver, thinking it was about to take off. But, of course, the price dipped a little. His broker, instead of just telling him to take a small loss, convinced him to put on this complex spread that just ended up racking up commissions. For weeks, Douglas is just watching his account bleed out, totally stressed, not sleeping. Finally, he just snaps. He calls his broker and says, "Get me out of everything, now." Not even 30 minutes later, the silver market absolutely explodes. It moves so fast it hits the daily price ceiling, limit up, and it does that for 30 days straight. He could do nothing but watch in agony as the trade he just bailed on became the single biggest move of the decade.
You can imagine, a loss like that changes a person. It had a huge impact on him. So Douglas quits his high-paying job, he walks away from a 6-figure contract, and he moves to Chicago. He was totally determined to get to the very heart of the industry and learn the real secrets from the pros.
So he lands this amazing job at Merrill Lynch, right there on the floor of the Chicago Board of Trade. He thinks, finally, I'm going to be surrounded by the smartest traders in the world. But what he actually found? Well, it was deeply, deeply unsettling. He saw the reality of the trading floor almost immediately. The brokers, they weren't master traders. No, they were salesmen trained to dial for dollars, basically just to squeeze as much in commissions out of their clients as possible. The unspoken motto on the floor was that every retail trader was terminal. It was just a matter of when, not if, they would blow up their account. Nobody had the answers he was searching for.
And this wasn't some big secret they were trying to hide. In a training class, the head of commodities just flat out said it. The average customer completely wiped out in 6 months. The whole system was pretty much built on that assumption.
Through all these observations, Douglas started to see that traders basically fall into 3 buckets. You've got your consistent losers, their equity curve just goes down. You've got the super rare consistent winners with that nice, steady upward curve. But then there's the biggest group, especially for traders with some experience, the boom and busters. These are the folks who make a ton of money, they feel like a genius, like they finally cracked the code, and then they give it all back in 1 or 2 catastrophic trades. It's an absolutely soul-crushing cycle.
Okay, so his search for answers took him away from these so-called experts and pushed him towards a much more fundamental question about the market itself. What actually makes price move? And the answer he found, it changes everything.
Seriously, think about this for a second. It sounds almost too simple, but how does the price of something actually move from $10 to $11? It doesn't just float up on its own. Something specific has to happen.
Right. So for the price to get from $10 to $11, somebody has to come in and actively buy up all the sell orders sitting at $10. Not only that, they have to be willing to pay a higher price. They have to do the exact opposite of what we're all taught. Buy low, sell high. This takes an insane amount of conviction that the price is going to go even higher.
And this brings us to the first kind of trader out there, the passive trader. Let's be honest, this is almost all of us. We look at charts, we see patterns, we place our bets, but we are completely dependent on someone else to come in after we do and push the price in our direction. We don't move the market.
So who is that someone else? Well, they're the dynamic traders.
These are your hedge funds, your big banks, your institutions. They have the money and, more importantly, the agenda to actively create price movement to accomplish their goals, which, by the way, often have absolutely nothing to do with the little head and shoulders pattern you're looking at.
And that is the fundamental difference right there. We, as passive traders, are dependent. They create. We follow the patterns. They exploit the patterns. We cross our fingers and hope for a winner. They literally manufacture an outcome. We are just playing in their world. So how does all this tie back into Mark Douglas's personal story? Well, after years of struggling and boom and bust cycles in Chicago, his money was finally running out. He was about to come face to face with his absolute greatest fear.
He had to file for bankruptcy. For a guy who was incredibly proud of his perfect credit, this felt like the end of everything. He was totally convinced he was going to fall beneath the cracks of society and never reemerge.
But then something incredible happened. He went through it, and he survived. He realized he was still okay. And in that moment, the fear, the very same fear that cost him that $400,000 silver trade, the fear that had been controlling every single decision he made, it just vanished. And all of a sudden, with that fear gone, he could see the market with total clarity. He started trading with an ease and an effortlessness he'd never experienced before. He had finally achieved what he called a carefree state of mind.
Okay, so this brings us to the final, most important point of all of this. Why do we hesitate on our entries? Why do we cut our winning trades short and let our losers run way too long? What is the real root cause of all the mistakes that sabotage our trading? It's this, right here. The reason we make all those errors is because we put way too much emotional weight and importance on the outcome of the one single trade we are in right now. We expect it to be a winner, and that expectation creates fear, the fear of being wrong. This is the huge mental shift you have to make. The amateur trader thinks this trade has to work. The professional, on the other hand, fully accepts that the outcome of any single trade is basically random. They know their edge, their strategy, only plays out over a large series of trades. They're not trading predictions, they're trading probabilities.
And really, this is the ultimate lesson. You will never, ever know for sure what's going to happen on the very next trade. Why? Because you can't read the minds of the dynamic traders who are actually moving the market. So the only path to consistency, the only way to win, is to truly, deeply accept that uncertainty and learn to trade from that carefree, probabilistic state of mind.
Thanks for watching another futuristic journey here at Tam BytZ. If you love what we do, make sure to like, comment, and share this video. Stay connected. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram for the latest updates and exclusive content. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to never miss an update. Your support keeps us going. You can also support our work on Ko-fi. Thank you so much for your support. We'll see you in the next one.